You're watching Northern Crimes.
Canada, a land of stunning natural beauty, vibrant culture, and friendly people. It's a country that values diversity and has a reputation as one of the safest places in the world. But behind this idyllic facade lies a much darker reality, a reality where crime, mystery, and murder lurk in the shadows. This is Northern Crimes. Amber Tuccaro was a 20-year-old Indigenous woman from Fort McMurray, Alberta. A member of the Mikisew Cree First Nation, she was living with her mother and 14-month-old infant son and had been trying to secure permanent housing and employment. On August 17, 2010, Amber flew to Edmonton with her son and a female friend for a spontaneous weekend trip. Upon arrival, they spent the night in Nixu, a small community on the outskirts of Edmonton, reportedly to save money. The following evening, August 18th, Amber decided to go into the city, so she left her son with her friend and started hitchhiking to Edmonton. This is where things went wrong. When Amber hadn't returned by the following day, August 19th, her friend called Amber's mother, Vivian, who immediately called authorities to report her daughter missing. But the RCMP, short for Royal Canadian Mounted Police, didn't take her concerns seriously. A few weeks later, and with Amber nowhere to be found, RCMP curiously removed her from the missing persons database, a decision her family feels compromised the investigation. Unfortunately, 2 long years would pass until a haunting clue emerged. In August 2012, the RCMP dropped a bombshell by releasing a 1-minute snippet from a call Amber made to her brother on the night she vanished. This unique piece of evidence was captured while her brother was locked up at the Edmonton Remand Center, making it even more compelling. Surprisingly, it took the investigators a whole year to share the clip, but their hopes were that it would generate fresh leads. What's more, it remains the only instance in Canadian history where the RCMP has made public an audio recording during a murder investigation. In the haunting recording, Amber can be heard talking to a man whose identity still remains shrouded in mystery.
Where are we by?
We're just heading south of Beaumont, or north of Beaumont.
We're heading north of Beaumont. Yo, where are we going?
Just
No, this is a... Are you f***ing kidding me? You better not take me anywhere I don't want to go. I want to go into the city. Jeez. Yo, we're not going into the city, are we?
We're going.
No, we're not.
Yes.
Then where the f*** are these roads going to?
50th Street.
50th Street. Are you sure?
Absolutely.
Yo, where are we going?
50th Street.
50th Street?
50th Street.
East, right?
East.
Over town.
Bravo.
Bravo.
According to investigators, Amber's abductor drove her toward the southeast of Leduc County, deviating from the expected route to Edmonton. Following the release of the recording, 3 women came forward claiming to recognize the voice, but the man they identified was later cleared of any involvement in the case. Despite their suspicions, it was determined that he was not the individual whose voice was heard on the recording. But the story didn't end there. In a chilling discovery on September 1st, 2012, a group of leisurely horseback riders stumbled upon a human skull on a rural property in Leduc County. The area was located only 35 kilometers away from Edmonton and south of the motel where Amber stayed. Authorities were notified, and a 2-day search of the area ensued. While the gruesome finding occurred shortly after the audio recording was made public, the RCMP maintains that the 2 incidents are not linked. Unfortunately, the remains were confirmed to be Amber Tuccaro's, identified using dental records. To this day, the cause of her death remains undisclosed. Amber Tuccaro's brutal murder has caused immense pain and suffering for her family and the Indigenous community in Alberta. The injustice of her death has sparked a national conversation about the treatment of Indigenous women as well as marginalized communities. Despite a formal apology by law enforcement, the case remains unsolved, adding to the anguish and frustration felt by the Tuccaro family. Their unwavering search for justice continues, and they remain hopeful that someone will step forward with information that could help solve Amber's heinous murder. Lindsay Buziak was a 24-year-old real estate agent living in Victoria, British Columbia. Known for her friendly demeanor and professional approach, Lindsay had been working hard to further her career when a strange opportunity arose. On February 1st, 2008, she received a call from a woman with a foreign accent who urgently needed to purchase a home with a budget of $1 million. Being a relatively junior real estate agent, Buziak was uneasy about how the caller obtained her personal cell phone number. Nonetheless, she sought the advice of her boyfriend, Jason Zylo, and her father, Jeff Buziak, who encouraged her to proceed with the client due to the high commission she would earn. Zylo even promised to be nearby in his car in case of trouble. So, Buziak found a suitable property and scheduled a viewing with the client for February 2nd, 2008. On the day of the viewing, Buziak and Zylo went about their separate errands before the appointment. Zylo was running late, and CCTV footage showed him and a colleague leaving an auto shop at 5:30 p.m. Buziak, aware of her boyfriend's tardiness, waited for the woman to arrive at the house. But despite the client claiming to come alone, a man and a woman arrived for the viewing. Witnesses described the woman as Caucasian, 35 to 45 years old, with short blonde hair. The man was also described as Caucasian, 6 feet tall, with dark hair. Witnesses then observed the trio enter the house together. Zylo arrived at the house around 5:40 p.m. and parked outside. After waiting for some time, he texted Buziak but received no response. He approached the house but found it locked. Zylo's colleague discovered a gap in the fence in the back garden and entered the property. The back patio door was wide open. Zylo called 911 and ran upstairs. There, in the master bedroom, he found Buziak lying in a pool of blood. She had been stabbed multiple times and had no defensive wounds. Despite an extensive search, nothing had been stolen, and there was no evidence of sexual assault. Zylo and his colleague were detained in connection to the case, but released without charge after the police verified their version of events. The surveillance footage from the auto shop showed that they couldn't have committed the murder, which put the police on the hunt for the real killers. According to the Saanich Police Department, Zylo had always been cooperative in the investigations and even passed a polygraph test. The police believed the murder was planned and executed by experienced killers. They believed the killers fled through the back door and left the back patio door open to make a quick escape. Witnesses reported an unknown couple walking up the cul-de-sac, which police believe could have been the killers. But without DNA or fingerprints, nothing came to pass. A later examination of phone records showed the unknown woman who'd called Buziak on the day of the murder used a cell phone that was purchased several months prior in Vancouver. It had never been used until the day of the murder and was registered under a fake name. The phone was deactivated soon after the murder, and it hasn't been used since. Cell phone tower records show that the phone traveled on the ferry from Vancouver the day before the murder, which supports the theory that the murder was premeditated. In the ensuing years, an interesting array of twists and turns have kept Lindsay Buziak's case alive. In 2017, a message was posted on Jeff Buziak's investigative website claiming responsibility for Lindsay's murder. In 2002, Capital Daily obtained public records related to the case, which revealed that the suspects used two, quote, crime phones, with one exclusively used to contact Buziak. Finally, in February 2021, the Saanich police announced new leads in the case due to advancements in DNA analysis and other technology. The FBI has also been collaborating with investigators. Despite over a decade of investigation, the brutal murder of Lindsay Buziak remains unsolved. The case has been plagued by a lack of physical evidence and a complex web of possible suspects and motives. The mysterious circumstances surrounding her death have captivated the public's attention, and the case remains a haunting reminder that danger often lurks in the most unexpected places. Honey and Barry Sherman were a wealthy couple living in Toronto, Ontario. Barry was the founder of Apotex, one of the largest generic drug companies in the world, and Honey was a philanthropist, an active member of the community. The couple was known for their philanthropic work, and their deaths in December 2017 sent shockwaves throughout Canada. On the morning of December 15th, real estate agents arrived at the Shermans' home, looking to show the property to a couple. As they led the couple down to the basement, they stumbled upon a gruesome and shocking scene. The bodies of Barry and Honey Sherman were lying lifeless on the floor next to the pool. Both had their necks bound tightly by leather belts to a metal railing. The couple was fully clothed, with their coats pulled down over their shoulders, restraining their arms. Police found several bizarre clues around the scene. Honey's cell phone was discovered in a bathroom that she never used, suggesting that she might have been trying to call for help. Meanwhile, Barry's gloves and some paperwork related to a house inspection were left on the floor just outside the garage door. Additionally, a window had been left open to allow a recently painted room to air out, and a basement door was unlocked. This could have created an easy entrance or escape route for the murderer. The Toronto Police Service Homicide Squad took the lead in the investigation. The post-mortem examinations revealed that the cause of death was, quote, ligature neck compression, meaning they were strangled with rope or binding. This type of strangulation is usually distinguished from hanging because the force is something other than the person's own body weight. Initially, the police suspected it was a murder-suicide, as there was no indication of forced entry into the Sherman home. But friends and family disagreed, pointing out that the couple would have been likely to let someone in who asked for help, no matter the time of day. The Sherman children urged the police to conduct a thorough criminal investigation. Additionally, they hired their own private investigator and forensic pathologist to look into the case. In January 2018, an exclusive report by the Toronto Star claimed that the couple was strangled by belts after their hands had been tied. This contradicted the police's initial theory and sparked even more questions about the case. The police investigation was still ongoing in September 2018 when detectives obtained 7 more search warrants. The family also offered a $10 million reward for any information leading to the arrest and prosecution of a suspect. Despite years passing since the murders, the case remained unsolved and no charges were filed against anyone. In fact, the Toronto police asked the court to seal case documents from the press, a move they hoped would protect the integrity of the investigation. The Sherman family later increased the reward to $35 million, again hoping that someone might come forward with any sort of information. Over time, new information emerged about the couple's personal and professional lives. Barry Sherman was involved in a legal dispute with his cousins over control of the company, and the couple was involved in a contentious divorce proceeding with a business associate. There were also rumors of involvement with organized crime and ties to the Israeli intelligence agency, Mossad. Despite these leads, no arrests have been made in connection with the Sherman murders. In January 2021, the Toronto Police Service announced that they had exhausted all leads and were closing the investigation. But the Sherman family continues to demand answers. The murder of Honey and Barry Sherman remains a high-profile case in Canada, with many unanswered questions and much speculation. The case has highlighted the need for transparent and thorough investigations, particularly in cases involving wealthy and influential people. The Sherman family continues to seek justice for their loved ones, and the investigation into their deaths remains open. The cases that we've explored in this video today are just a small glimpse into the haunting crimes that have left their mark on Canada. They remind us that the line between safety and danger can be thin, and that oftentimes the truth is stranger than fiction. The mysteries surrounding these cases may never fully be resolved, but the relentless pursuit of justice fuels our fascination and curiosity. Who knows what other secrets and unsolved crimes lurk beneath the surface of this vast and enigmatic land?